Hello students, today we'll be looking at quadratic graph. Quadratic graph. Draw the graph of y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3 for values of x from minus 4 to plus 2 using a scale of 2 cm to represent 1 unit on both axes. Use the graph to find the value of y when x is 1.5, b. the values of x when y is 1.1, when y is 1, c. the minimum value of x squared plus 2x minus 3, d. the value of x when y is least, then e. the root of the equation y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3, f. the equation of the line of symmetry. Now, before we do all this, we must first of all draw the graph. And before we draw the graph, we must do the table. Draw the graph of y equals 2x squared plus 2x minus 3 for values of x from minus 4 to plus 2. So first of all, before we can draw the graph, we must first of all draw the table. So to do the table, we are told that the equation is what? Y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. So let's first of all draw the table. So to draw the table, you'll be substituting the value of we are told that you should pick values of x from minus 4 to plus 2. So when you draw your table, you substitute the value for minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1 and 2. So you do that for the x. Then you'll be substituting this minus 4 into this equation one after the other to be able to get the corresponding value for y. So to get when x is minus 4, so in place of x we put minus 4 square plus 2 times minus 4 minus 3. So minus 4 square will give us what? Minus 4 times minus 4 is what? Plus 16. Plus 2 times minus 4 plus times minus is minus. 2 times 4 is 8. Then minus 3. 16 minus 8 is 8. 8 minus 3 will give us 5. So when x is what? Minus 4. Y is what? 5. Then when x is minus 3, what will be the value for y? So again, you are going to substitute into this equation. So where you see what x squared, that is what? Minus 3 square plus 2 into bracket 2 times minus 3 minus 3. So minus 3 square will give us what? Minus 3 times minus 3 will give us plus 9. Minus 2 times minus 3, minus times plus is minus. 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So when x is minus 3, y will give us what? 0. Then when x is minus 2, when x is what? Minus 2. So what will be the value for y? So you are going to substitute minus 2 for x. So minus 2 square plus 2 into bracket minus 2 minus 3. So you'll be substituting minus 2 where you are having x. So minus 2 square is 4. Minus 2 times minus 2 is 4. Plus 2 times minus is 4. Minus 4 minus 3. 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 minus 3 will give us 4. Minus 3. So when x is what? Minus 2. Y is minus 3. Then when x is what? Minus 1. Let's substitute minus 1 square plus 2 into bracket minus 1 minus 3. So minus 1 square is 4 plus 1. Then 2 times minus 1 is 2 minus 2. Then minus 3. 1 minus 2 minus 3 give us minus 4. When y is minus 1, y is minus 4. Then when y is what? 0, what will be the value for x? So when x is 0, substitute x for 0. 0 square plus 2 into bracket 0 minus 3. 0 square is 0 plus 2 times 0 is 0 minus 3. 0 plus 0 is 0 minus 3 is minus 3. So when x is 0, y is minus 3. When x is 1, what will be the value for y? So when x is 1, so you substitute the value for 1 where you have x plus 2 into bracket 1 minus 3. 1 square is 1. 2 times 1 is what? 2 minus 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. When x is 1, y is 0. Then when x is 2, what will be the value for y? So substitute 2 for x. 2 square plus 2 into bracket 2 minus 3. 2 square will give us 2 times 2 is 4 plus 2 times 2 is 4 minus 3. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 minus 3 will give us 5. So when x is 2, y is what? 5. You substitute it in the table. Then after this, you will need to draw the graph. So let's come back to the question. The question says that draw the graph of y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3 for values of x from minus 4 to plus 2 using a scale of 2 cm to represent 1 unit on both axes. So you have to use 2 cm to represent 1 unit on both axes. So this happens to be the graph we are talking about. So now the horizontal line is for the x-axis while the vertical line is the y-axis. So this is a graph of 1 cm by 1 cm. You realize that for you to get the thick line, you count five lines to get the thick line. So this is 1 cm. So that means you are using, they say you should use 2 cm to 1 unit on both axes. So if this is 1 cm, they're making 2 cm like this, 2 cm to 1 unit. So this x-axis, so if you count 2 cm here, this way is 1, another 2 cm, 2, another 2 cm, 3. So this is positive axis. This will be the negative x-axis. So if you count 2 cm here, you having this one will give us minus 1. Another 2 cm will give us minus 2. Another 2 cm minus 3. Another 2 cm minus 4. This is minus 5. So we've done that on the x-axis. So we need to do it also on the y-axis. 2 cm to represent 1 unit on both axes. On the y-axis also count 2 cm, 1, 2. So this is what? 1, 1, 2. This is 2, 1, 2. This is 3, 1, 2. This is 4, 1, 2. This is 5. So this one is what? 6. Then on the y-axis also, this axis also, you count 2 cm, 1, 2. This is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 5. So this is y-axis. So this is y-axis. I've been able to draw that. Then let's come back to the table. We want to draw the graph. So the table says that when x is minus 4, y is plus 5. So this is minus 4 on x, minus 4 on x. This is y is plus 5 here. So look at where the two lines meet. Where do they meet? So this is the line from minus 4. This is the line from plus 5. So both of these lines, they will meet at this point. So that's where you are going to mark. So the two lines are meeting at this point. Are you following me? So that's where you are marking. Then when x is what? Minus 3, y is 0. So x is minus 3 on this line. So this is the line for minus 3. Y is 0. And so the two will meet at x is minus 3 here on this vertical, then y is 0 here. So the two lines will meet at this point. So that's where you mark. So this is the line for x is equal to minus 3, y is 0. When x is minus 2, y is minus 3. When x is minus 2, y is minus 3. So this is minus 2 on x, then minus 3. So this is line for minus 3. This line for minus 2. This line for minus 3. So the two lines will meet at this point. So that's where you mark. When x is minus 2, y is minus 3. Then when x is what? Minus 1, y is minus 4. This minus 1 on x, this line or minus 1, this minus 4 on y. So the two lines, so this minus 1 on x, this minus 4 on y. So the two lines will meet at this point. So that is where you mark. When x is what? 1, y is 0. When x is 1, sorry, when x is 0, y is minus 3. X will be 0 on this line, so which falls on the line we have drawn here. Y is what? Minus 3. Minus 3 on this line. So both of them will meet here. Then when x is 1, this x is 1 here, y is 0. X is 1, y is 0. Realize that this line for x is 1, y is 0 on this horizontal axis. So that means both of them will meet at this point. We are going to mark it. Then when x is what? 2, this is 2 on x, y is 5. So this is 2 on x. So this is line for 5. So the two lines, this is 2 on x, this is line for 5. The two lines we are going to meet at this point. So you mark it. So you are now going to join the lines together. You can either use a broom or your free hand. Just be targeting the next point for you to be able to draw the curve properly. So I want to draw my curve. Then you try to be careful. I'll be targeting the next. So you target it like this carefully. So you join the lines together, the points together. So you join the point together, you realize you are going to get a quadratic curve. So this is the graph of y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. So this is the graph of y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. Now let's come back to the question. The question say A. Use the graph to find A, the value of y when x is 1.5. The value of y when x is 1.5. So when x is 1.5, you are going to look for the graph. Where do you have x to be 1.5? Here you are using two lines, 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the x on both axes. What will be the value for one of the line? So that means you are if 10 lines is what? 1 unit. So one line will be what? This 1 over 10 times 1, which gives us 0.1. So the value of each of the line here will be what? 0.1. If this point is what? 1, 1.1 will give us the next line 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 will be here on this point. So you are now going to trace it to where the graph is. So you now trace x is equal to 1.5 here. You trace it to where the graph is. So you trace it to where the graph is. So when you trace it to this place, you now trace it to the vertical axis. So you now read the value of the value for y there. So when y x is equal to 1.5, y is equal to what? The value of y here will be what? Plus 2. When x is 1.5, y is equal to plus 2. Then B part of the question says, the value of x when y is plus 1. So the value of x when y is plus 1, look at it, this is the graph, y is plus 1 here. So you are now going to draw an horizontal line on this point, so to where it will cut the graph. So when you draw the horizontal line on that point when y is plus 1, so wherever it cuts the graph, you will now trace it to the x-axis. So you trace this point to the x-axis here, then you trace this point also, the point of intersection, to the x-axis. You trace it to the x-axis, then you are going to read the value you are having at this point. So this is when y is equal to 1, so x will be equal to what? So you now, it's going to give you two values. So when y is 1, so on 1 you draw an horizontal line that will cut the quadratic graph you have drawn, trace it to the x-axis, trace it to the x-axis, and take the readings. So if this is 1, and you know that we said that on the axis, one line is for 0.1. If this is 1, this is 1.1, this is 1.2. So value for x here be 1.2, or then read this side also. You know, this is so minus 3, this minus 3.1, minus 3.2, minus 3.3, minus 3.4. So this will give us minus 3.4. So when y is 1, so draw an horizontal line and check where it called the axis. I hope you can differentiate between the two. When the value of y when x is 1.5, so if like this a, the value of y when x is 1.5, you come to 1.5 from x, trace it to where the graph is, then look for the corresponding value for y will give you. Then the b part says the value of x when y is 1. When y is 1, come to y which is 1, draw an horizontal line that will cut the axis, then now trace it to the x axis to now read the value. Then c, the minimum value of x squared plus 2x minus 3. If you are told to look for the minimum value of x squared plus 2x minus 3, so it means that you realize that this curve is facing up. Look at the peak point here. Wherever the peak point here, the peak here, you now trace it to the y-axis. At this peak, you trace it to the y-axis. You are having a minus 4. So that means here, the value for y minimum will be what? Minus 4. So the value for your y minimum here is what? Minus 4. The minimum value of the graph. So the minimum value of the graph will be the point where the peak point. You now trace it to the y-axis. That will be the minimum value of the graph. Then they now say that the value of x, d states that the value of x when y is least. It means the value of x when y is minimum. So if at this point is where you are having the least value, y minimum is minus 4, so you are told to look for the corresponding value for x. So now at this peak point, you now trace it to the x axis. So here you realize that x will be equal to minus 1. So when y is minus 4, x is equal to minus 1. When y is minus 4, x is equal to minus 1. Then they now tell us to look for e. You are told to look for the roots of the equation. The e passes the root of the equation y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. So you are told to look for the root of the equation y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. So what will be the root of the equation? So when you talk of the root of the equation, you are going to look at where your quadratic graph cuts the x-axis. So it cut the x-axis at this point and this point. So the root of the equation will now be x. It will be two values for x. So where it cut the x-axis, this point and this point, it cut it at x is equal to minus 3 and x is equal to what? 1. So this quadratic graph cuts the x-axis at x minus 3 and 1. So this is an alternative way of solving quadratic equation, that is graphical method. You can also use a graphical method to solve quadratic equation. So if you have to use graphical method, so you draw the graph normally like this, and you are going to look for where the graph you have drawn cut the x-axis. If you can try it, if you use factorization method to solve the equation, you realize that what you are still going to get the same answer. If you use factorization method to solve the equation, you will still get the same answer. Let's just quickly try that. We say y is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 3. So let's try to say, okay, x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So let's use factorization. So x times x will give us x squared. So we can say that what? That is 3 times minus 1 will give us minus 3. So let's check if you give us what is the middle. X times minus 1 is minus x. X times 2 is what? Times 3 will give us plus 3x. Minus x plus 3x is what? Minus 2x. So that means these are the factors. So we now solve, it will now be what? X plus 3, x minus 1 is equal to 0. So x plus 3 is equal to 0. X will be equal to minus 3. Then x minus 1 is equal to 0. X is equal to plus 1. So therefore the value for your x will be what? Minus 3 or plus 1. So you can see that when we draw the graph, so you can see that we got the same answer with the root of this equation. So the alternative way of solving a quadratic graph is by using quadratic equation by using graph. And after drawing the graph, just check where this line and the graph cuts the x-axis. That will still be the same thing as the solution of the graph. Then the last part of this question now says that f, the equation of the line of symmetry. The equation of the line of symmetry. To get the equation of the line of symmetry, the line of symmetry is a line that will divide the graph into two equal halves. And usually this will be done where you have the peak y minimum or maximum point. So if you look at it, the equation of the line of symmetry here below, you are going to know it will be at this peak point where you are having the minimum or maximum value. So this, for this one, is the minimum value. So you trace it to x axis here. That means this is minus 1. So that means the equation of the line of symmetry here, both x equals minus 1. X equals minus 1. So for the work practice, you are having this. Number 1, given that y equals x squared minus 2x minus 1, copy and complete the table below. So you have to copy and complete the table below. Then you solve the b. Use a scale of 2 cm to 1 unit on both axes to draw the graph of y equals x squared minus 2x minus 1. c. Use your graph to find Roman figure 1, the value of y when x is 1.3. Roman figure 2, the values of x when y is 6. Roman figure 3, the minimum value of y. Roman figure 4, the solution of the equation y equals x squared minus 2x minus 1. Then Roman figure 5, equation of the line of symmetry. We are told to look for the equation of the line of symmetry. Number 2, a. Draw the graph of y equals x squared minus 2x from x is equal to minus 1 to x is equal to plus 4. b. What is the minimum value of y? Then c. Find the values of x when y equals 7. And d. Equation of the line of symmetry. So please ensure you comment, like and subscribe to this video. Thank you.